Welcome to Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
AI has changed how consumers shop for vehicles, and the next wave of innovation could have major implications for dealerships. Joining us now is Gary Ng-Wai, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at CarJiffy, to discuss what dealers should be thinking about today to prepare for the future of automotive retail. Gary, thank you so much for joining me once again in the studio.
Thanks again for having me.
Sure. So let's jump right in here. A lot of dealers are hearing about AI. We've had numerous shows on this topic.
Yeah.
It is just playing a bigger and bigger role in retail automotive. But you're making a distinction between AI helping consumers shop and AI helping consumers buy. Big difference there, right? Why is that distinction so important?
Yeah, that distinction is everything. Mm-hmm. AI shopping is already here. Consumers can use ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Meta AI, and a bunch of other tools to research vehicles, to compare models, to evaluate payments, to narrow inventory and decide, what makes sense for them to buy.
Sure.
But AI buying is the bigger shift. Mm-hmm. Now, this is when AI doesn't just help the consumer research, it helps the consumer take action. It helps them find the right vehicle, compare the right deal, structure the payment, evaluate the trade, move through financing, and decide where the transaction should happen. Mm-hmm. That is why dealers need to think beyond AI as just a chatbot or a content tool. The real question is, when AI helps a buyer decide, will your dealership be ready to transact?
Right. That's the big question right there. Why should dealers care about this right now when most buyers are still completing at least part of the deal with a salesperson or in the showroom?
Yeah. Well, because consumer behavior does not change slowly. And once that convenience becomes obvious, things change. Mm-hmm. We've seen this in every category so far, like travel, retail, banking, food delivery, insurance, mortgages. Mm-hmm. Once consumers get used to a simple digital path, they do not go backward. Automotive has been slower because the transaction is more complex. There is trade, there's credit, there's F&I, there's paperwork, there's compliance, delivery, and dealer workflow. But that is exactly why dealers need the right infrastructure. If AI can help the buyer find the right vehicle, mm-hmm. but the dealer website can't support the next step, the buyer will move to the easiest place to transact. So dealers, again, don't lose deals only to competitors. They lose them to convenience.
Yeah, for sure. What happens when an AI assistant is helping a consumer choose where to buy?
Well, the AI will likely prioritize the path that gives the buyer the least amount of friction. So if one dealer has inventory but no way to transact, another has a lead form, another says call us tomorrow, and another lets the buyer move forward with payment, trade, financing, deposit, scheduling their delivery, the AI-assisted buyer is going to favor the easiest path. Mm-hmm. That should be every dealer's top list for their attention.
Yeah, for sure.
The next customer may not arrive by walking into the showroom or even filling out a form. Mm-hmm. The next customer may arrive through a buying process that already has been researched, narrowed, and prepared by AI. So the question is whether your dealership is ready to receive that buyer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You brought a video with you that shows what an AI-assisted buying journey could look like. Should dealers what should dealers watch for?
Well, I think, Jim, dealers should watch for how quickly the buyer expectation changes. This is not about someone who is casually browsing. Mm-hmm. This is about a buyer using AI to define exactly what they want, compare options, and move forward towards where they can complete that transaction. Mm-hmm. So the key thing to watch is this. The AI does not choose the dealer with the most excuses. Mm-hmm. It chooses the dealer with the clearest path to buy.
Okay. Let's take a look at the video.
It is almost midnight and a family has a decision to make. So they do not open a website. They do not call anyone. They just ask,
"Find a black 2024 Highlander?"
A few clear conditions handed to a machine. The agent goes looking, reading every dealer in range. Hundreds of sites in seconds. It judges them on one thing only. Can the deal be finished here tonight? The first dealer has the car, a full page about it, and nowhere on it to actually buy. So it moves on. The next one offers a form. Leave your number, someone will call. That is a wall, not a door. The third says call us during business hours when someone is in. It is nearly midnight. 3 good dealers, each one able to show the car, and none of them able to sell it. AI will not replace dealerships. It will replace the friction in front of them. Then it finds a fourth, the same kind of site, with one thing the others were missing, a real way to buy added right on top. So the agent stops scanning and starts working. It builds the exact car, priced to the budget, values the trade, applies for credit and locks the rate, adds the protection plan, leaves a deposit, signs the paperwork and books the pickup. Start to finish, the whole deal, done. No human ever stepped in. The dealer wakes to a finished sale. Not a lead, a complete transaction, closed while the showroom was dark and everyone asleep. The AI didn't choose the closest dealer. It didn't choose the cheapest dealer. It chose the easiest dealer to buy from. In the AI era, convenience wins. That difference decided everything.
Wow. That is going to get a lot of dealers thinking about this, right? For sure. So that video paints a very different picture of retail automotive's future. So talk to me about that. What's the main takeaway for a dealer watching that?
Yeah, the main takeaway is that convenience wins.
Yeah.
The buyer in that scenario is not asking for 5 callbacks. They're not looking to restart the entire process with the dealership. They want to move forward with intent, and when that intent is highest. Mm-hmm. That is where most dealer websites are not ready. They help people shop, but they don't often help them buy. When an AI world comes around, that gap becomes even more dangerous because AI will expose the difference between dealers that can transact and dealers that can only collect leads.
Yeah.
Most dealer websites generate leads. CarJiffy helps them generate sales.
Right. And you're capturing that customer when they're really in the buying mode. You know, right. For customers, they can go from the shopping mode to the buying mode in the blink of an eye. And you want to capture that, right?
That high intent moment when that sale is ready to be done.
Yeah, because if you submit a lead, you don't make a commitment on a car, you got 24 hours, 48 hours, whenever it is they come back, and the dealership gets back to you the next day, the next afternoon, whatever it might be, you might be on to other things in your life and say, you know what, maybe it's not a good time to buy the car. But last night you would have clicked to buy the car. Right? Wow, that's incredible. So where does CarJiffy fit into the AI-assisted shopping and buying future?
So CarJiffy gives dealers the transaction infrastructure they need to compete in that future. Today, it turns a dealer's website into a 24/7 sales channel where buyers can structure payments, manage trade-ins, apply for credit, select F&I products, e-sign, leave a deposit, and schedule for delivery or pickup. But strategically, it also creates the foundation for AI-assisted buying because the buying journey becomes structured, connected, and actionable. AI needs a place to execute. It cannot complete a transaction through a disconnected lead form. So CarJiffy gives dealers that layer under the dealer's brand, on their own website, connected to the dealer's sales process.
Yeah. Well, and you say the dealer's own website. Why is that so important that it happens inside a dealer's own ecosystem instead of through a third party?
Because whoever owns the transaction owns the customer relationship. Okay. They own the data, they own the brand experience, they influence the margin opportunity. They control the handoff to sales, F&I, delivery, and service. Yeah. So if AI buying evolves through third-party marketplaces, dealers risk becoming just fulfillment points instead of relationship owners. And that is a significant danger to dealers. So the question is not whether AI will influence automotive retail. It will. The question is whether dealers will own the transaction when that happens. CarJiffy, again, is built to keep that transaction inside the dealer's ecosystem.
What do you say to the dealers that are watching that are worried that AI is going to take the place of their team, of their salesperson? That really, those dealers that believe that this could have a negative impact. We really want them to come in and meet that salesperson. And how do you respond to that?
Yeah, great question. AI is not going to replace the best parts of the dealership. It's not going to replace trust. It's not going to replace the relationship. It's not going to replace the confidence a buyer gets with a great salesperson or a strong F&I manager or a well-run delivery experience. But AI will replace friction. It will replace slow handoffs, disconnected forms, repeated questions, and unnecessary waiting. That is why the future is not AI versus the dealership. The future is AI plus the dealership.
Okay.
If the dealer has the infrastructure to support it.
Okay.
Technology, again, creates the opportunity. Your people close the relationship.
Yeah, I like it. Now you give examples like, we've all heard these, right? Blockbuster. We don't want to be a Blockbuster in the auto industry, but Blockbuster, Kodak, the taxi industry. Why are those comparisons relevant to retail automotive?
Yeah, excellent. Well, because those companies and industry did not fail because they were unaware. Blockbuster saw streaming. Kodak saw digital photography.
Yeah.
The taxi industry saw ride sharing. They knew change was happening. The problem was that they underestimated how quickly consumer behavior would shift once a more convenient model became normal.
That's right.
This is a warning for dealers.
Yeah.
Dealers should not assume they have unlimited time just because today's process still works for many buyers. The future rarely announces itself. It simply arrives.
Yeah.
And when buyers become comfortable using AI to shop and eventually buy, the dealers who waited too long may be forced to react instead of lead.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you brought another video with you that we want to show our audience. It's titled The Cost of Waiting. What should dealers take away from this one?
Well, the video is really about urgency, Jim. Every industry shift that has happened for companies, they all said, we still have more time. And then suddenly they don't.
That's right.
So the point is not to scare dealers, it's to remind them that waiting has a cost. And the dealers who build true digital transaction capability now will be in a much stronger position when AI-assisted buying becomes a normal part of consumer behavior.
That's right. There's no question. When I was around in the auto industry when back in the early 90s and the mid 90s when the internet came in and everybody had to have a website, and there were those dealers that said nobody's going to buy a car on the internet or use the internet to buy a car. They still want to come in and kick the tires and talk to a salesperson. That's a that's a fad, right? Yep. And of course, what dealer would ever want to be without a website today, But
exactly.
So it's those early adopters that get out far ahead of the pack.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, no question about it. So let's go ahead and show the video, and then we'll talk about it.
Excellent.
Okay.
Every giant believed its world was permanent. Blockbuster was certain people would always come to the store. Netflix never asked them to. Kodak invented the digital camera, then buried it, sure that film would always matter. The taxi knew you'd always hail a cab until you opened an app instead. None of them were blindsided. They saw it coming. They simply moved too slowly. Kodak, Blockbuster, the corner cab stand, Sears, Nokia, eroded, not overnight, but not by accident. The future rarely announces itself. It simply arrives. It already has. Carvana is buying dealerships and outselling them 10-1. Lithia and Asbury are racing online. They built their own platforms. Most dealers can't. CarJiffy gives every dealer the same digital storefront on their own site around the clock. Start to finish, the whole deal. Done. Online, in-store, always selling. A real way to buy, added right on top.
Wow. That's a strong warning to dealers, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, you either better get on the program or your competition's going to blow you away.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Talk to us about that. Why would you say to dealers who believe they still have plenty of time? What do you say to those dealers?
Yeah, listen, every industry believes it has more time.
Yeah.
The challenge is that the buyer changes first and then the business often realizes too late.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
so
right.
Dealers do not need to abandon what makes them successful. They don't need to become a Carvana. They do not need to replace their teams, but they do need to make sure that they can compete in the way consumers increasingly want to buy.
Yeah.
If the buyer wants to start online, continue in store, transact after hours, or eventually use AI to help complete more of that journey, the dealer needs to be ready. And the cost of waiting isn't just missing a trend. It's losing the customer relationship to someone who made that process to buy easier.
That's right. That's right. I love your slogan. It's always selling. But in reality, today's dealers and their websites are not always selling. They're really just showing some pictures and maybe videos, a walk around video, what have you. But to your point, then they have to stop, fill out a form, hope to get a call back. It's a lead. You're taking them right to the sale.
We're taking it to an end-to-end transaction for the dealer, not a digital brochure, as you sort of described.
That's right.
They're actually now being able to buy that vehicle fully online.
Sure.
And that deal is showing up for the dealership in the morning as a closed piece of sale.
So Gary, let me ask you, what should a dealer actually do now to prepare for AI shopping and AI buying?
Well, I think, Jim, the first step is to honestly look at their website. Mm-hmm. Can a buyer move beyond shopping? Can they structure a real deal? Can they value their trade? Can they apply for credit? Can they select F&I? Can they leave a deposit? Can they schedule delivery or pickup? Mm-hmm. If the answer is no, then the website is not yet a transaction channel. Yeah. The second thing is to make sure the dealer owns that capability under their own brand. Mm-hmm. That is where CarJiffy comes in. We help dealers create that infrastructure to transact online today and prepare for that AI-assisted buying behavior that's coming next. And again, to make it very easy for dealers to get started, we're offering a 60-day on-us platform use incentive for dealers who connect with me after the interview. Again, no cost, no strings attached, no long-term commitment. Yeah. It will give dealers a chance to experience what a true 24/7 transaction channel can do to make impact to their business before they make a long-term decision. Yeah, that's great. Now, since COVID, there has been some other people in this space, as you know. However, the difference here, and the reason we want to talk to you, is that you're the only end-to-end solution for dealers, right? At this point, yes, we represent the only end-to-end, starting from the beginning and finishing again with a signed bill of sale. Wow, very nice. With a deposit. Yeah. There are others out there that go to 75 or 80%, but again, don't take them all the way through that. Gotcha. And so we are here to ensure that the industry knows. Sure. And then you're also agnostic. You're kind of like Switzerland. You'll deal with all of these different platforms out there, right? Yeah, we simply have an agnostic platform in that we promote a plug and play. So not about rip and replacing. Right. We, in essence, want to be a warm blanket over your existing operations. Mm-hmm. So whatever DMS you use, whatever CRM you use, whatever credit application platform you use, we simply work with that and create around digitizing the exact same way that your sales team sells today, just digitally. Yeah, that's fantastic. How can this platform be leveraged by OEMs or franchise dealer networks, maybe the publics or what have you? The work that want to prepare their dealer body for the next shift? Well, CarJiffy can be tailored or made bespoke for OEMs and franchise network dealers. Okay. An OEM can license the CarJiffy platform for use by its franchise dealers with the support of the CarJiffy team, or the OEM can license the platform for in-house development and further customize it for their own brand, their retail standards, and digital strategy. This gives OEMs a way to accelerate consistent digital transaction capability across their entire dealer network, again, without starting from scratch. But the key is that dealers can still keep the transaction, the customer relationship, and the local sales process, and that is very important. So this, again, isn't about making the customer move away from something that they're familiar with at the dealership. It's about preparing the dealer network to compete in the next era of automotive retail.
Sure. So, Gary, as we close out this segment, and I appreciate all the time that you've given us, for dealers that are watching this, what's the one question that they should be asking themselves today?
Well, the question is simple. When AI helps a buyer decide what to buy, where to buy, and how to move forward, will your dealership be ready?
Yeah.
If your website only captures a lead, you may be part of the research process. But if your website can actually support the transaction, you can now be part of the buying process. And that is the shift.
Yeah.
The future is, again, not about generating more leads. It's about converting more buyers.
Right.
And for dealers who want to see what that looks like in their own store, CarJiffy is making it simple to get started. 60 days on us. No costs, no strings attached, no long-term commitment.
Wow, that's fantastic. What do you got, dealers that are watching this right now? What have you got to lose? I mean, this is a 60-day, no commitment. Just try it. Maybe you've got 10 stores and you want to try it in 3 stores to see if before you roll it out to your entire network of dealerships. Maybe you want to start it in 1 store. But we've heard so many good things about this company. That's why we wanted to bring you in here because there were you've made a lot of waves out there in a short period of time. And we really, when we heard that you guys were doing you were the only one out there end to end and being able to complete that transaction is really the differentiator right out there. And that's what dealers are looking for now, especially as more consumers are going online and want to do more of the transaction online, right?
Exactly. We know the demographic has changed. We know that 95% of buyers start their process online.
Yeah.
And so if they're already in that environment, aka on your website, why not at that high intent period be able to have that transaction go from fill out this form to I can actually take myself through this entire buy process and conditionally buy this vehicle by signing a conditional bill of sale with a deposit.
Sure. And we spoke a little while before we got recording today. And the beautiful part about this is that if any, for dealers that are out there saying, what about F&I? You actually saw F&I reserves go up and F&I PVR go up in a process like this because the customer is not as intimidated by going into the box, with an F&I manager where they're no. They're doing all of this in the comfort of their own home. So they're more prone to buy things after the sale, right?
Exactly. What we know, again, is that people appreciate transparency.
Right.
If it's transparent for them and they don't feel like somebody is throwing things over to them in a pressurized situation.
That's right. In a short period of time, make a decision.
They actually internalize it and see the value of it, not because somebody told them, but because they saw it.
Yeah.
And that's what this system also does, is bring that transparency to that sales process.
Yeah.
And as you said, Jim, it has increased the revenue that comes from attaching F&I to their sale.
The other things I would imagine it would increase is a couple of things. Repeat business. Referral business. Hey, if I bought a car this way and I was happy with it, I'm more prone to tell my neighbors and friends, right, and relatives about this process that I found at this dealership. The other thing it's going to increase is CSI scores. Right away the customer is much more happy because they don't have a 4-hour wait to get into the dealership, or they're not waiting. They're able to click that button and bingo, they're buying the car.
Yeah, they're clicking that buy online now button.
Yeah.
And again, is built onto every VDP page within that dealer's website.
That's great.
So again, with some simple marketing that the dealership would do, which is to have banner ads that say you can buy cars from me fully online now 24/7, it had, again, a marked impact for the dealers that are presently on our platform.
Oh, no question. Yeah, I would lead, if I were a dealer again today, I would lead with that message because, to your point, convenience is what it's all about, and it's all about that customer journey. And by the way, folks, if Carvana can do it, why can't we do it? Well, now we can, right, with CarJiffy. I mean, these, as I said earlier, these are the kind of solutions that we want to be bringing you. Any final thoughts for the dealers today?
I think, again, someone is going to use AI to buy a vehicle.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe not tomorrow, but that shift is coming. So the dealers who prepared now will be positioned to own that customer, own that transaction, and own that relationship. Now, the dealers who wait will still get a lead, but you may not get the sale.
That's right.
So again, for any dealer who wants to start now, we're offering again a 60-day on us platform use incentive.
Wow, no brainer.
So you can see the opportunity that this brings to you at no cost.
Yeah, that's
no long-term commitment.
Right.
No strings attached.
Wow. You're feeling pretty confident about your
Very
product and its outcome, right?
Indeed.
Wow, that's fantastic. Gary Ng-Wai, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at CarJiffy. This is a company you're going to be hearing a lot more about. These, again, are the things that we want to be bringing you here at CBT News so that you can run your dealerships more efficiently, more effectively, and also more money to the bottom line. I think this product is going to do this for you. So, Gary, thank you again for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it.
Appreciate it as well.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.